Hey there, Skeleton Key here. Welcome back to my channel. And welcome to week 8 of 2024, my book report for the past week, actually ending on Sunday. I am doing these on, it looks like I'm just going to have to go with Monday or Tuesday of the following week. I am. My schedule just varies. It's wildly inconsistent from week to week. So, and sometimes on Monday, I don't know until like halfway through the day if I am going to have time at the end of my work day. And I don't know. It's just hard to say at any given point in time, and it's so I end up having to kind of schedule these at the last minute. So I'm sorry if you didn't get much notice for this or any of the previous ones. I am gonna try to like schedule them on like Saturday and pick Monday or Tuesday and try to just make it happen whichever day I pick. But we'll see how that goes. So wish me luck with that. And whether you're watching live or watching on the replay, I hope you will pop in and say hi in the chat or the comments. And yeah, let me know what you're reading and also any thoughts you have on any of the subjects I bring up. So I'm going to talk about last week's books and then look ahead to next week, which includes March, which is just, that's not right. That's not right. But at least I don't think we're looking at the time change this weekend. I hope not. Because if we are, I'm totally not ready for that. Anyway, all right, let's see what I read last week. Bring up my screen. All righty. So I only finished 3 books last week. And these first 2, A Cat's Guide to Bonding with Dragons and A Cat's Guide to Serving a Warlock. And I talked about the first one a little bit, but they're actually on the same thing, the same borrow from Hoopla. I split them out as separate here because the Hoopla listing didn't give any indication that this little prequel was at the end of this novel. So, and that's why my Goodreads challenge, I always just set it to 100. It's like, I'm going to read way more than 100. And I'm not competing with anybody. I'm not competing with myself. I don't have rules. So if I want to split this out into 2 books, even though technically it was 1 book with extra material, bonus content, it doesn't really matter. Nobody cares. I don't care. So nobody else should care. It's just not important. And anyway, they're both fine. They didn't really grab me and draw me in, but I think I liked, well, it's hard to say which I like better. I think A Cat's Guide to Bonding with Dragons, just simply because it had more to it. There was more plot and story, and I like the cat POV. Some people don't like the cat POV, but I liked the cat POV, so that was fine. The prequel, which is, I'm not sure how long it was, maybe a longish short story or a novelette, but it actually introduced other points of view. So that was interesting. I did feel it was a little repetitive, especially when included with the novel. But it also did kind of explain a few little things that I had kind of wondered about while listening to this story about this cat bonding with a dragon. And oh, I do want to mention that the title of this, A Cat's Guide to Serving a Warlock, really doesn't make any sense. That's not what it's about. It's just sort of a how did these characters get here kind of thing. So it was fine. They probably suffer in comparison to Shape a Dragon's Breath. And this, yeah, I'll click through on this. This is by Monocle Black Goose, and this was pretty amazing. It's YA. It's about a girl who finds a dragon egg, and when it hatches, the baby dragon chooses Onychus to be her, I don't know, her person and her writer, I guess. And anyway, this was just so the world building was really interesting. And this was also really interesting to read right after finishing Daughters of the Deer, which is a tale of women who suffer at the hands of colonizers. And yeah, there's more of this here. And but it's a fantasy setting. There is a map. I did look online and I found, because I listened to the audiobook, so I didn't have the map and everything. So I went online and looked at it online as best I could, and it was hard to read. But I did get the idea that this is our world, but a fantasy version of it and an alternate history, and it's kind of steampunky. I like that. And it's but there are a lot of the same conflicts, but it was interesting to see them through a slightly different lens. The French, which are, I think, called Frank, the Frank people, the country is referred to as Frank, and it's just mentioned briefly. They don't really play much of a part, but it's the English, which, yeah, the English, and the Scandinavians. And I forget what they called them, but I guess the English are in charge of everything. But the Scandinavian folks have also played a large part in colonizing the new world here. And even though it's not new to Onychus and her people. And she's a 15-year-old girl, and she is indigenous. And, you know, they've got this hatchling, and they haven't seen, because there was a dying off, and her people have not seen dragons in the longest time, but they have this lore about dragons, but a lot of it has been lost. And so she decides, well, if I'm going to be a good person for this dragon, I'm gonna have to go to the English school for dragon riders and see what they can teach me. And yeah, much wackiness ensues. It is actually very cozy, even though there are there are some pretty violent scenes, but most of the violence is off the page. But it's very much this is a boarding school story. It's with dragons, and it's, I don't know, it was just so much was just so well done. There's, of course, you've got the story of indigenous conflict with colonizers, and reflection of our world in this world. And there's also some pretty good disability rep as far as like mobility issues. And for instance, there's one professor who was injured in a war and uses a wheelchair. So, so there's some of that, and I thought that was handled well. But there is a lot of neurodivergence rep, and it's handled beautifully. I really enjoyed watching how Anarchus handled the interactions with this other student. And, Anarchus was just a wonderful character without being a Mary Jane, really. I mean, she was good at a lot of things, but she was also this fish out of water. In that instance, it kind of reminds me a little bit of the Goblin Emperor, in which you've got sort of an outsider kind of in this prominent role and getting a lot of attention and not knowing what the norms are, not knowing what all the social rules are, but muddling through and most of the time doing okay, coming through it. Sometimes there are hiccups, lots of hiccups, but most of the time things work out okay. And I'm not going to tell you how it ends or what the violence is and all. And it's, like I said, it is pretty much off page, but there is a little bit of a mystery there. So even though I would not at all call this a mystery novel, I am going to count it for the Folklore February mystery prompt, because I'm unfortunately not going to be able to finish A Master of Djinn before the end of February. I've got way too much to do before the end of February, which is coming up really, really quick here. But yeah, so there is a little bit of a mystery there, but it was really great. Oh, and there's some queer rep, and that's another thing that was kind of interesting to see. My brain was constantly doing this compare and contrast with Daughters of the Deer, and the queer rep there and the queer rep here, and this is just and this was the 12 recommendations from 12 friends. It was on that list, and I think this was from Kristen. So thank you, Kristen. This was a wonderful addition to my reading year. So thanks. And let's see. So those are the only 3 books that I finished last week. I did do a lot of reading on a lot of things. Let's see. Let's look at readathons. I talked a little bit about Folklore February, and then let's see. I still have Monster for that. And so for Monster, I'm going to read The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. I started that, and I have like a Kindle book, and I have an Audible book. So, but they're not Whisper Sync. So it's a little but so far it's working out really well, and it's very short. So I started that yesterday or the day before. I forget when I started it. Anyway, so I'll go back to it and finish that up. And I have never actually heard this full original story. I'm sure I have heard like a severely abridged kids version at some point, but no, I haven't. I have not listened to this. It's, the storytelling style is not really for kids, or at least not modern kids. So, and maybe we just don't have the attention span, or we didn't in the 70s. I don't know. But, and let's see, I've been continuing on with What Have We Here? Portraits of a Life by Billy D. Williams. And that's for Filmtastic February, which and that may end up being my only read for Filmtastic February. I am enjoying it. I will say that the narration is, I'm listening to it at double speed, and it's not doing that great at double speed. And I don't know, maybe I should go back and see what it sounds like at a slower speed. Um, and maybe that will, because right now it's a little bit halting. I don't know if it's the speed that I have it at or if his delivery is just a little halting. And yeah, and I don't know if that's natural or an artifact of the production method. I don't know, but it is a little distracting at times, but I am enjoying hearing about Billy D. Williams, his early career and his youth, and he's quite the ladies' man, as you might expect. So hearing about all of that, let's see. I just dipped into the fear. I picked this up from the library. I got it on hold and picked up my holds from the library the other day. And I just opened it and I read the first little bit and I'm like, I don't know. I have a feeling I'm probably going to DNF this one, and then if I do that, I'll probably do a hard DNF. I've never done a hard DNF on the Silent Patient. I've always kind of kept it around thinking, well, maybe I'll give it another go and see. But Silent Patient, in the first chapter there, I was just like, I think I know where this is going. And a lot of this is really stupid. And I think where it's going is stupid. And people told me that I was right. So I don't get what all the hoopla was about, but I don't know. But we'll see. I'll give this one a fair shot and see what I think of it. Yeah, I never even tried the Maidens, but I will try this one. I think I forget which book club this is for. Literally Dead, maybe? I don't know. And let's see. Oh, Hello Beautiful. I will probably just set that one aside. I started it for a book club. Wasn't really getting into it, but I'm not like, well, I'm not hating it either. So I'll probably just drop it and maybe pick it up again later and see if I'm in the mood for it then. I still haven't finished Steeped in Murder. I am enjoying that. I'm way past 15%. Why have I not updated that? Anyway. And technically, I still haven't finished To Be Taught If Fortunate. And I'm just going to try to keep this really quick. Let's see. I guess I should be focusing on the readathons. So Everything Counts for Winter's Respite. And readathon information for the February readathons is down in the description below. I will probably do some additional lives, or at least one additional live, kind of going into greater detail on March. And we'll talk about that in a bit. Let's see, talked about Folklore February and Filmtastic February and Cat Lady. I did finish the Cat Lady readathon, and that was I finished it off with the Cat's Guide to Bonding with Dragons. That was my final prompt for that. And that was, I think, Cat in the Title. So, yay! So, yeah, that's it on the February readathons. So, yeah, let's go to other February reading, which I was already talking about anyway. So To Be Taught If Fortunate, yeah, I'll have to finish up that bonus content and talk about that next week. The Reformatory, I didn't get very far, and I didn't even manage to write down the date of the live. That was for the book troupe, I think. And yeah, I was online when it started, and I was like, oh, well, I guess I'm not going to that live show because Yeah, I've barely started that, so hopefully I'll be able to get farther on it maybe in March. We'll see how March plays out. Um, let's see, and here's some others. This was for a book. I started this for a book club. But yeah, and Song of the Cell. Actually, yeah, my Libby shelf is probably the better thing to look at right now. So yeah, I have to finish Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murders by 10 o'clock tomorrow night. So, um, so I'm reading that on Kindle. I am really enjoying that. And I really like how it's sort of a puzzle piece kind of mystery. You're getting all of these different perspectives, and people are being kind of vague in what they, what we're allowed to see in their point of view. And but it's all mildly suspicious. But my guess is that all of these POV characters that we're being introduced to now are not the murderer, but through their varying clues that we pick up, we, as Vera Wong, will be able to piece everything together and locate the murderer, and hopefully people will be um, and there are some romantic attachments happening, I'm sure. So I think this will be a lot of fun. So there's Reformatory. Oh, and that's a peek to next month. That's for middle grade March. The Mona Lisa Vanishes. That is a group read for middle grade March. The Midnight Library. That I have not even started it. That was for a book club, and I got it. I'm not sure if I want to read it. I'm going to try it and see what I think. I've heard a lot of glowing reviews, and I've also heard a lot of people say, yeah, it's not all that. So I don't know. When people have gone into detail about some of the stuff that's not described in the cover blurb, and I'm thinking it might not be a book for me. I don't know. I will try it and I will see if I want to continue with it. Let's see. And then, yeah, this is coming due, but I'll probably just renew that and see if it fits anywhere in March. Same with Crow Mary and Spare Room. These were all book club books. Or no, that was a readathon, but that was for Historathon last November. And I was trying to get back to it to finish it, and that hasn't quite happened yet. So, Spare Room. I don't know. I feel like finishing it I'm not really being entertained by it, but I'm just like, I want to see where this goes. And I want to see if I'm right about something. But I think that one's going to get pushed off because it's not due for another 16 days yet. So that's going to get pushed into March. Song of the Cell is going to get pushed into March, even though that book club has already happened. Only if you're lucky. I think I'm actually reading ahead with that one, and I picked up the hard copy from the library today, so I might just drop this and turn it back in, especially if somebody else is waiting to read it. But right now, it doesn't look like anybody is, so I'll just let it kind of simmer there and see. Maybe the Kindle challenge, one of them will have this as an option to fulfill a little prompt on that. We'll see. And I don't really know anything about that one. And I can't even remember which book club it's for, but I think it's for an April book club. And I think it's for the same one as this one. And so, yeah, this is a March book club book, but I'm gonna have to finish it, because I think somebody else, it doesn't say, but somewhere else I looked and yeah, I would be put on a wait list to finish it, and I'm no telling if I get it back next month. Um, but yeah, apparently I'm reading ahead in that one. This is a book club book. So I should be getting that soon. That was a book club book, I think, in January, and I'll probably just push it out because it doesn't sound that interesting to me. I hope I get this one back sometime soon. It says about 4 weeks. That sounds about right. And this is a book club book, and I'll probably just drop that one since I'll probably have made a decision on the audiobook by then. These three does not look like I will get these in time for their respective book clubs. So I guess I need to start looking at burning Libro credits or finding another source. I might be able to get a hard copy from the library on that one. These two, I'm kind of kicking myself because I saw this on the How to Know a Person. I saw it on the Here and Now shelf a couple weeks ago. And I thought, well, I don't want to read it this far ahead of the book club. And I should have just grabbed it and read it. But I did see like an interview with the author about this book. So maybe I'll watch that interview. And even if I can't manage to get a hold of a copy and get it read in time for book club, I'll at least know a little bit about it, I hope. But yeah, these two are coming up pretty quick, so I need to be looking for other sources for those. But yeah, for finishing out February, also Out There Screaming. Stop sharing. But yeah, Out There Screaming. And this is horror short stories, an anthology of new Black horror edited by Jordan Peele. So I've gotten a little further in that. I am enjoying it. I'm not going to get all the stories read in time before book club. Is that literally dead or booked? I forget. But anyway, there's a bunch of stuff happening on Saturday. So I don't know. And let's see. So yeah, I've got all the stuff that I'm trying to cram into February. Oh, I also want to read Six of Crows in February. That's probably not going to happen. Oh well. So kind of peeking ahead at March, I have picked out some readathons. I've participated in Middle Grade March for several years in a row now, and I really enjoy it, even though, I'm not a parent of a middle grader. But it's sort of a nice change of pace. I don't know, it's just a nice kind of relaxing read, I guess. So I've got 5 prompts. 4 of them are audiobooks. I don't have it up here, but yeah, A Bridge to Terabithia. I still don't know how to pronounce that. But anyway, that is the book you feel like you missed out on prompt. I will be reading that. And 4 audiobooks. So, and I don't have those handy on a screen to look at, but that is Middle Grade March. And they've got a channel because it's usually co-hosted by 3-4 people, something like that. and they used to just kind of rotate around their channels for events. But now they've got their own YouTube channel. I think it's just at Middle Grade March, if you want to go look that up. And I'll probably at some point go update the description with some information on these 3 that I'm looking at for March. The second one, and this will be my first time for both of these participating in them. The 9th annual March Mystery Madness, and that is, the theme is to the nines. And so all of the things have, all of the prompts have a 9 reference in them. Let's see what I do have handy to show you is, this is for the 4th prompt, which is the 911 prompt, to read a first responder story, such as a firefighter or an EMT. I did a lot of looking, and yikes, they're all like, maybe a little bit of mystery, because this is a mystery readathon. Maybe a little hint of mystery or something, just as an excuse for a hot firefighter or hot EMT romance storyline. Usually a firefighter. That seems to be the major trope, is hunky firefighter. And I'm like, I don't want to. And they're all, bragging a bit. They're either Christian romance, which does not appeal to me, even though you would think they would, because there's, they're clean. They don't have all those sex scenes that just bore and annoy me. But these, most of them brag about how smutty they are. And I'm like, no, that's not for me. And I was despairing. And then I realized I have this on my TBR, on my physical TBR. And this is Murder on Astor Place, a Gaslight Mystery, by Victoria Thompson. And now this may cause me other issues, but the protagonist, our sleuth, is a midwife. And I thought, that's a first responder. Surely that counts as a first responder. But it starts with, let's see, after a routine delivery, Sarah, who is a midwife in the turn-of-the-century tenements of New York City, visits her patient in a rooming house and discovers that another boarder, a young girl, has been killed. And so she gets involved in this mystery. I'm going to count it as my 911 mystery because I'm sure, they did not have 911 in 19th century New York, but I don't care. A midwife is a first responder. And wish me luck on surviving the midwifery. All the descriptions of that. But there's a bunch of other, looks like all, there's 9 prompts, to the nines, in all. And, looks like I'll be reading some Agatha Christie and a bunch of other stuff. And I've got at least one that I should be able to cross off both the Middle Grade March prompt and a prompt here. So that'll be nice. And then let's see, the third one is the Irish Readathon, which I hadn't heard of. And let's see, it has 6 prompts, including the group read is The Rachel Incident by Caroline O'Donoghue. Don't really know anything about that one. I've put it on hold at the library, and hopefully I'll get it in time. We'll see. But let's see, do I have any of these? Not handy. Hopefully. And see, I don't know how to define Irish. It's like I was looking up lists, and a lot of them were listing like the Dublin Murder Squad series by Tana French. And the thing is, Tana French is, I guess, I don't know if she's an Irish citizen now, or I'm not sure, but she's from Vermont, I think. She's from America. So I don't know if she's Irish enough for this. And then there are people who were born in Ireland but now live elsewhere. And I'm like, well, are, if they've got citizenship somewhere else now, are they still Irish enough? So I don't know. And then there's one prompt to read an Irish children's book. And so I picked out a book that's considered a classic, Owl Babies, because I like owls. So hey. But the illustrator's not Irish, so I'm like, okay, I don't know if that counts. I don't know. What do you think? Does Tana French count? Does a non-Irish illustrator of a children's book, does that make it not count, even though the author of the children's book is Irish? I don't know. Let's see, read an Irish book related to the number 7 to celebrate 7 years of the Irish Readathon. I am going to do Dervla McTiernan, and I'm pretty sure she's Irish. I hope she's Irish. But I'm going to start with The Ruin, which has 7 letters in the title. I kept looking for people's 7th books, but I was never at the right point in the series, and I have to read books in series order. That's how my brain works. It just rebels if I don't do that. But 7 letters in the title. I'm going to count it. And then there's cover prompts. So Maeve Binchy. Yeah. So A Week in Winter. I have an audiobook of that. And so far, I'm going to count In the Woods for the read an Irish book in your favorite genre, mystery. And then, the Rachel incident. The first prompt is just to read a book with green on the cover, and it doesn't have to be Irish. So I'll just see what the first book with green on the cover I read in March is, and I will count that, Irish or not. So that is my peek at March. So what are you reading? Yeah, let me know. You can pop it in the chat. You can, or if you're watching on the replay, just hop into the comments and tell me about what you're reading there. Are you ready for March? Because I'm not. I'm not even ready for February. I wasn't ready for February, and I'm still not ready for February. So this year, I don't know. I am kind of taking this year with sort of a whatever happens kind of attitude, and I'm just trying not to stress out about stuff, and because I've got enough other stuff going on that it's just deal with everything as it comes. But I guess that's it for now. And have I managed to talk fast enough for this to be shorter than usual? I don't know. But I'll sign off for now, and I will talk at you later.